Where to begin, man? Conservative dating advice is failing young men. It's so bad. It's outdated advice and it no longer applies to modern society, which, albeit, is a very sad thing and it's nothing to celebrate. Most traditional conservative dating advice I see now is, oh, just get married young, save yourself for marriage, go approach a woman after mass. They love that shit. Well, no, look at this. This is what happens when you approach a woman after mass. You get shamed and humiliated on the internet and you get blasted all over social media. And save yourself for marriage, I mean, in an ideal world, yes, that would be great. But only 1.6% of women aged 25 to 44 in the US are virgins. If you're going to tell a man to save himself for marriage, then you have to have that man find a wife who is also a virgin. Like, that has to be a deal breaker for obvious reasons. The problem is, like I said, only 1.6% of women are virgins. So unless you do get lucky and marry young, you're not marrying a virgin. So you yourself cannot be a virgin. And I mean, let's just be honest, the only people in church that are virgins are the guys. And this is where it gets very sad and why we shouldn't have left the traditional marriage style. The divorce rate increases significantly when the woman is not a virgin. But unfortunately, that's just not realistic in modern society. So you can't preach and tell young men to save themselves for marriage in a world that is filled with promiscuity. The odds that you find a woman who is also a virgin, like I said, slim to none. And the advice of get married young and have kids is good advice. And ideally, that would be what everyone does. You marry your high school sweetheart, you marry that girl in college, or you marry the girl you grew up with, the girl next door. But how few of us actually get to have that life? Most of us aren't so lucky. And what modern, Christian conservative dating advice really fails to see is that women in their 20s in modern society are not interested in getting married and having kids. They are focused on finding themselves or traveling, which really just means getting put into a pretzel and getting headboarded into oblivion by a bunch of dudes. Then they permanently rewire their brain chemistry and lose the ability to pair bond and form long-term attachment or experience love, real love. So they hop from guy to guy every 18 months when they get bored. Then when they get to their 30s, well, now they're ready to settle down. And the problem is there are a bunch of loser guys out there that do take these girls for wives. And they say, no, of course, babe, of course your past doesn't matter. And then later down the road, they get cheated on and then get divorced. So that was a very ugly picture that I just painted, but unfortunately this happens a lot, man. And where conservative dating advice fails is that these guys will get walked all over by these women if they have no experience with women. And if a man has no experience with women, then he cannot understand women as much as any man can understand women. And so in a perfect world, yes, a man and a woman would save themselves for marriage. But there are very few women these days who are genuinely virgins and not some born-again bullshit. So I cannot in good conscience recommend young men to try and save themselves for marriage when no women are doing the same. Because if you are a man and you are a virgin, you have to marry a woman who is also a virgin. You can't marry a woman who has multiple bodies if you are saving yourself for marriage. At that point, you're just a joke. And listen, the problem is I truly am a hopeless romantic at heart. I really am. I was born in the wrong fucking time period because the modern world is not so kind to romantics. So you can be angry at society, you can be angry at feminism for causing all of this, but you can't just give up and be resentful. That's no good for you, that's no good for anybody. So here's my advice for men when it comes to modern dating. And take it with a grain of salt. There's this great Alan Watts quote that I now specifically apply to women. The quote goes like this: man only suffers because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. So like I said, I just apply this quote to women now and it's made everything better. So we can suffer and be resentful because we want to find a godly woman, a great wife who is not promiscuous. But we live in the modern world, man, and that's just not the way it is anymore. Women are just not like that these days. It sucks, it's sad, but it is what it is, man. And at this point, you either adapt or die. The old advice no longer applies. So just have fun, enjoy the company of women, and don't take it too seriously. Now, we can fight and try to change the culture, and we should. But if you're above 25, or especially if you're above 30, this is probably just the reality for us. We grew up in the most hyper-promiscuous time, and we should encourage the younger generation to get married young before society corrupts everyone. or corrupts your potential wife. Now, obviously, this advice is not very Christian or conservative at all, and I know this. It is my burden to try and reconcile this, but more than anything, I want to see men succeed, and I cannot, in good conscience, tell men to stay virgins and save themselves for marriage when women are off on yachts or partying in Dubai, getting fucked every which way. And if you try to follow this conservative dating advice, you're going to end up just being a simp, and you cannot be a simp. You have to ditch the happy wife, happy life bullshit slogan and be a good, strong man. So let me know what you think about this below. Most guys who are not religious understand all of this, but it's my Christian brothers who need to hear this the most, I think. But the problem is this advice is not Christian at all. But I think we have to adapt to modern times. Do you think we should still try and follow this Christian conservative dating advice, or is it outdated? Let me know below. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.